welcome to the Glasses Show, where we both have glasses.
We both decided to wear our spectacles today.
These literally just came in the mail like 30 seconds ago, so I was like, I need them. Hello and welcome to That's One of My Favorites. I am Samara, one of your hosts. That's my good friend
One,
Emily.
Emily.
Emily. I am holding my mic. Last episode was a little bit echoey,
Mhm.
so I'm gonna hold my mic for as long as my arms will let me, and hopefully that will help fix the issue. This week, we got to watch, which was I swear to you, an absolute hilarious coincidence.
Mhm.
Because this week is the Raw Doll Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory from 1971, after we just did Matilda, which, by the way, is a plague amongst my house. It is a locust. It is the eighth plague from Egypt, from Jesus.
There are
Daniel,
worse
oh,
movies that your daughter could want to watch on repeat, though.
it's so fun. It is fun, but I mean, it's also, like we talked about it. It's just so good, and literally, Daniel, we got a new phone for me today. My phone like decided to die. I don't know what happened, and he's getting out of the car, and he's like, "My mommy says," and then Ruby just starts going, "Matilda the musical soundtrack, Matilda the musical soundtrack in the car, in the car," and I was like, "I will kill you." Like, this is just a plague against our house, but it's great. It's amazing. We love it. It's fine, just as everyone knows. But this week we're talking about my favorite movie, one of my top favorite movies in the whole world, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Yay.
1971, starring my boy Gene Wilder, who I discovered, sadly enough, during this research, hated his legacy as Willy Wonka. And
Really?
I kind of wanted to weep a little bit.
Why?
Because he said that it was one of his earlier is one of his first and earlier show like movies, and he also just was unhappy. Apparently, life on set was hard. Some of the things that were going on with props design and things like that was really difficult. Working with kids apparently was super difficult. Um, but he wanted his legacy once he started getting in with Mel Brooks is when he really felt like he was being Gene Wilder. He was portraying what he wanted to portray. Young Frankenstein, he really wanted Young Frankenstein to go down in history, like way more than it had. Um so that was maybe I love Young Frankenstein. I love Blazing Saddles.
I was about to
But
say Young Frankenstein did in a way, but not as much as Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, and I think it honestly has to do with the way that this movie is presented I mean, this movie is it's obviously too terrifying for my kid right now, but like I can't wait to show her this movie. Like I
Mhm.
can't wait to show her Willy Wonka. And I just remember watching it as a kid for the first time and being like, I mean, mouth on the floor. So I wanted to go there so
Yeah, same.
badly. Um and I think that like it's so different from, the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory that is Johnny Depp is closer in actuality to the book itself.
Mhm.
But I think the practical effects and just the simplicity of Willy Wonka 1971 makes it more real
Yeah.
in
I
a way.
actually didn't like, well, I wouldn't say I didn't like the Johnny Depp version, but I didn't like it as much as the original movie because I'm so used to the way that is. So I thought that the other one was a little strange.
Yeah, so just to kind of ease our way into it. So it's based off of Raw Doll's book, which
Hmm.
was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Um, and he was asked to write the screenplay. So what happened was the director or the producer, I'm not 100% set on who it was. No, it was the director. So the director's 10-year-old daughter finished reading the book and then came to her dad and said, "Can you make this movie for me? Because this would be an awesome movie." And he was like, sure. And weirdly enough, for some reason, he and Quaker Oats were in a room together. And Quaker Oats was trying to launch a new thing, like a new product. And basically, the whole movie is a advertisement for Wonka bars, which is Quaker Oats candy line. So Quaker Oats funded this whole movie in order to get it done so that they could basically launch their new product. They were eventually bought out by Nestle. But yeah, so they funded the movie because his daughter wanted to, and they just happened to be in the same room together.
That's funny.
Like, right place, right people, you know?
Yeah, really.
Go ahead.
And kudos for the daughter to being like, I want this to be a movie. Make it for me.
Well, I mean, you think about it, like, your dad is a Hollywood director. I mean, like, yeah, I'd be doing that all the time. Like, I think about all the time, like, I think about Veruca Salt being like, "Daddy, buy me North Korea." And it's like, yup, I would be. I'd be like, straight up, like, yup, let's do it. I want this, make this happen. Thanks.
Right.
Or like, what was that video that went viral a little while ago? It was like a really famous, it might have even been like Steph Curry, but it was like that level. I don't watch basketball, I don't watch sports like that. But it was like a famous sports person trying to do interviews, and the kid was sitting on his, like, the kid came up, sat on his lap, and then like started like, Dad, I want an ice cream. Dad. And I mean, he's like, whoever it was like a high level player, and he's getting interviewed, and he's like, "Dad, shut up, stop, I want ice cream." Like, Dad.
Yeah. No, I hadn't heard
So
that.
that's what the little girl did. She just was like, "Hey, Dad, make this book that I liked into a movie," and he was like, "Dope, okay, sure." So Roald Dahl originally wrote the screenplay to adapt it to the movie, which, funnily enough, he wrote the screenplay for a James Bond movie, as well as, oh my gosh, did I not? I didn't pull it up. Hang on. Roald Dahl. There was something else that I was like floored by that he had done. But he wrote the screenplays for which Too Big to Die, I think, was the James Bond movie that he was.
I don't know that I've seen that one.
Screenplays: Willy Wonka, Charlie and the Chocolate. Oh, he wrote the screenplay for Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Love that movie.
You Only Live Twice, which is the James Bond movie that I was trying to remember. So he wrote the screenplay, but then they were like, "We don't like it," so they brought somebody in uncredited to fix it, quote unquote. And that is why he denounced the movie. He's like, this is not my movie, this is not my book. I hate this. Goodbye.
He denounced this movie?
Yep.
Oh, because they changed it.
Yeah, he denounced it. He was like, this isn't my stuff. Nope.
I guess that's why his name's not attached to it like Matilda was.
Yeah, I assume so. But so they filmed it in Austria. Filmed it. Yeah, I think it was Austria. They filmed product development, casting, filming. Primary commenced filming in the Guinness Brewery in Spain, Munich, Bavaria, and West Germany was where they filmed. So that's cool too. I
I can see that in like the like Charlie walking through the city, like that is very Germany.
Yeah, so they have like this at the end in the glass elevator when they fly over, they have a
Hmm.
picture from like 2011 of the same, and it looks exactly the same.
Yeah. I feel like I've seen that.
Yeah. Uh so they got to casting. Guess who was their top choice? Just okay, think about everything that we've ever talked about, every movie that we've talked about on this podcast, and everything that I've ever had to say about it. Who was their top choice for Willy Wonka? Shot in the dark, you're not going to get it wrong. It's so
Probably
freaking
Will.
random.
Oh gosh. There's a
It's
lot of
so
pressure. I
random.
don't know.
It's so random. It doesn't make any
Uh,
sense.
I don't know.
He's old. He was old. He's always old. He's always too old.
Who?
Fred Astaire. Exactly. They wanted Fred Astaire. He was
No, I would not have picked
72.
that.
They wanted Fred Astaire to be Willy Wonka.
Did they want Willy Wonka to dance more? Weird.
They wanted Fred freaking Astaire to be Willy
Was Fred
Wonka.
Astaire like, no, I'm too old?
Yes, thank God. For once in this life, this man said, I am too damn old.
You're like, why did he do that
It was
in Easter Parade?
Easter parade. Like, please, sir. This man was 72 years old. They wanted him to be Willy Wonka. And he was like, no. And they were like, okay. Oh, so then every single cast member of Monty Python, they wanted to be Willy Wonka, but then they decided that no one in America knew who they were.
Okay.
Yeah, so John Cleese is probably like the biggest name of Monty Python that's come out of it. But yeah, they wanted all of Monty Python, which I could see in a way, but because I love Monty Python, but they're all too funny.
Hmm.
They're
Yeah.
all so funny. And
I
like
don't think
John
that would have been
Cleese
a
would
good
get
match.
mad when they did shows because he'd walk out and people would start laughing because they just knew it was gonna be funny, and he would get so mad. He's like, I haven't done anything. I haven't done anything. And I mean, like, and it,
And people would still laugh thinking it's funny.
yes, they were just like, they were so amped and they thought he was so funny that like the second he stepped out on stage, also he's wearing goofy costumes. I mean, it's the guy who does the silly walks.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's wearing goofy costumes, and like he would just walk out, and people would be like, and he'd be like, "Oh no, you don't do anything."
And then would ensue more laughter.
Oh god, I would die. I would
Yeah.
crack up if somebody like started doing that. I would start dying, but it wouldn't be happy laughter. It would be like, please kill me laughter. It would be like, oh god, ah. So after a week of casting, they finally Gene Wilder walked in, and they were like, "We're done. We're good. We got it. Love it. Here for
Then
it."
he, I read something. Sorry, my voice just decided to give out.
Ooh.
Let me see if I can find it.
Drink some water.
He he said he would make the film under one condition. He wanted to do a somersault in the scene when he first met the children. When asked why, the actor said that Willy Wonka should start out with a limp and end up somersaulting, would set the tone for his character. He wanted to portray him as someone whose actions were completely unpredictable, and his request was granted.
Mm-hmm. I saw the quote that he didn't want anyone to know if he was lying or not.
Mm-hmm.
Ever.
Mm-hmm.
So by doing that, he established that this man's a liar.
Yeah. Or this man's like completely wacko.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He actually apparently had a lot to do with costuming and presentation of Willy Wonka, not necessarily improvising, but more in the mannerisms that he performed.
I could see that.
Which I think is just why, like, I even in Blazing Saddles, and I mean, again, I'm obsessed with this man. Like, I in 2020, March of 2020, I had a consult to go get him tattooed on my thigh because I had a spare extra $3,000. It wasn't gonna cost that much, but like I had it, and I was gonna get like, I am in love with this man. Um, and even in Blazing Saddles and like his more adult movies, you can just see he's so kind. Like
Mhm.
Gene comes through in everything that is he has done. And I didn't know this man. So maybe he is a fabulous actor, maybe he was a horrible man in the like in everything. But in the producers, in Blazing Saddles, in Young Frankenstein, like Gene is there.
Mhm.
At least who I perceive Gene to be. Again, I don't know him. I never know him, you know. Sadly, he's gone and I can't even write letters to him for him to ignore. So I mean, you know, it is what it is.
Or meet at a Comic-Con. Yeah.
Yeah, or meet at a Comic Con. So I mean, I get it, but I always every time I watch a Gene Wilder movie, I'm like, like it's like that Carol Burnett, like I see,
Mhm.
I see you're there. So the movie starts out, and it is a candy store, and
Candyman
the
can.
Candyman can. They originally wanted Sammy Davis Jr. Go ahead.
I was just saying, why don't they have candy stores like that anymore? Like they're few and far between.
I feel like they're always at theme parks.
Well, even those aren't like there's not a real like candy teller. Like there's one in Gatlinburg that is similar where you can actually see them making the candy and there's people behind
Oh yeah,
the candy.
we went there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like
There's
even at theme parks, because like Honeydukes is just like you walk in, you grab a prepackaged thing.
it's a storefront.
Yeah, you prepackaged things, you buy it and you walk out. Like it's not, I don't know. The feel of that candy shop, I was like, God, that would be so much fun if we still had those.
Yeah, I mean, you don't necessarily see the guy making the candy there, but it's that old like soda pop,
Mm-hmm.
soda shop,
Mm-hmm.
drugstore vibe. There's a drugstore over where my grandmother lives, um, that is still like that, and it's
There's the
very
Phoenix
nostalgia.
Pharmacy. There's the
Mm-hmm.
Phoenix Pharmacy in Fountain, downtown Knoxville that
Mm.
is still a pharmacy, but it's only like a soda pop ice cream place.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives that feel, but it doesn't have like all the candy and I don't know if it's just that people don't like that type of stuff anymore, but
I
I don't
feel like we swing the pendulum so fast that by the time something is quote unquote a trend, like it's not a trend anymore.
know. Mm-hmm.
Because I'm like, I would love that. And I feel like people have tried that and then they die immediately.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's
Because,
probably a lot
and
of
like,
upkeep, but
yeah, well, there's a lot of upkeep, but there's also, it's just like, you know, part of me, like, sometimes I think about, obviously, there are aspects like racism, no. Not being able to vote, no. Not being able to have a job, no. But like, you think about like the 1960s and the 1950s, and you're like, that would be, they had this, that, the third. They could walk outside and like not be scared. They all this
mm-hmm.
stuff. I long for that. But then like the second that like a candy shop pops up that's like that, I'm like, this is dumb. I'm never gonna come here. Like,
Right,
you know.
right.
So I think we just swing so far. You know, we're like, oh, I want a candy shop with like that, and then we're like, I want Amazon to deliver it into my mouth, like, just a little zzz, comes in the door, zzz,
Yeah,
comes out, like the
right.
end. I want freaking smell-o-vision or television or whatever the freak he called it in this movie. We'll get there. Why are we? Where's that technology, government? So back to the candy shop. I love this man, and I think he's a great singer. They originally wanted Sammy Davis Jr., and he wanted it really badly because he was the person who made the song popular on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, they didn't do it. Don't know what that reason could be, but they didn't. They decided not to go with Sammy Davis Jr. and went with the other guy.
Mm, interesting.
Yeah, it's so all these kids are having candy. They're having a great time. Here's the thing, and I've seen it brought up on jokes and whatever, but it is an accurate statement. My man's is yeeting candy.
Uh-huh.
Charlie can have none.
Yeah, no, Charlie is stuffing chocolate into his mouth, and he's like,
You need to pay. You need to pay.
"Well, I'm gonna shovel this candy in all these other kids' faces."
Literally, like the kids are laying on the ground getting candy poured into them, and Charlie has to pay because how dare he?
I thought of that too. I was like, interesting.
Ridiculous. Yeah, so Charlie is watching in the window. He has a little bit of pocket change. He goes and gets his, and he wants it. This is the point. He just wants it. He just leaves and walks away. And he goes, he does papers for his job, and he has to get food for his family, who are 4 elderly people in a poster bed, all stacked in like sardines.
It's like a handmade bed for like all 4 of them to be like boop 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 because they have like their own little headboards,
head to feet to whatever. What cracks me up every single time I watch this is it's Grandpa Joe, Grandma Josephine, Grandpa George, Grandma Georgette.
Huh?
What? Who? I'm sorry. I would not marry a man named Samarin. I don't know what the male version of my name is.
It's like Emil and Emily.
Yeah. Would you marry Emil? I mean, I guess if you loved him. I don't love him.
Well, there's Taylor Lautner and Taylor Lautner.
Yeah, no. I would just not. That would be unnecessarily confusing.
Well, at one point, like, I think she goes by Tay. Tay Lautner.
Taylor, my friend, like, she will stab you if you call her Tay. And some people do it as a joke, and it's like, she's not joking. Like, that's so funny. You better run.
I will end you.
Yeah. It's like when people do it, I audibly, like, every time. I'm like, no. Yeah, and their mom. Dad, not in the picture.
Mm-hmm.
Which is different from the Johnny Depp version, which is he's a toothpaste factory worker. Toothpaste factory worker. I lost you at my tabs. There you are. Hi. Toothpaste factory worker. But in this version, it's just mom and the 4 grandparents, which, like, part of me's like, yeah, good on you. The other part of me's like, no, girl. No. But anyway, all of these grandparents seem to be confined to a bed for now.
Mm-hmm.
For now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Charlie can't afford it. He's buying the cabbages for his family, and you find out his mom washes laundry. They are destitute poor.
Mm-hmm.
Like, po. And then does it come on? It comes on the radio or it comes on the TV? They do have a TV, I think.
They do. Mm.
It's like the tiniest little box TV.
Yes. It's like teeny. Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody knows about Willy Wonka's factory. It's been quote unquote shut down, or it was shut down.
Mm-hmm.
And then all the factory workers were sent away because somebody kept stealing his stuff, his formulas.
Recipes, yeah.
Yeah, his candies. So the factory got shut down. All of a sudden the smoke started pluming up, but like nobody's seen him. Ooh, he's not.
Like, he hasn't talked to his workers to come back. It's just running by itself.
Yep, it's just magically running by itself. Scary man with the cart and the knives and the butcher. For why? For what? We don't know. Just to be there.
Mm-hmm.
This movie can get really dark and terrifying. It can be the most beautiful movie in the world, like screen grab after screen grab. It also can be horrifying.
There were parts of this movie that I was terrified of as a kid. Like, would fast forward.
Yeah, for sure. Um, so we get to the announcement of Willy Wonka's going to open his candy factory. And how he's going to do it is the 5 golden tickets. They're sent out all across the world. If you get the ticket, you get to come to the factory. And Charlie even asked his mom, was like, do you think I could get a ticket? And his uncle's like, or his grandpa's like, yeah, of course you can. You have a good chance as any. Yes. And like, everybody's pissed at Grandpa Joe. Everybody's like, dude, you probably, there's a billion people in this world.
False hope. Yeah.
Yeah, which is like, part of me is like, yes, you want to encourage your friends and family. And then the other part of me is like, you also have to be realistic.
Right.
And I feel like there's no balance here. Like, I wish that, like, Grandma Georgette or Grandpa George would have been like, well, like, maybe. Probably not, but, like, maybe. Like...
Yeah, you never know, kid.
It's so dichotomized of, like, yes, or polarized. It's like, yes, you can, and never. Not ever. Yeah, so it goes through this montage of, I mean, the Wonka bars are just flying off the shelves.
Even
forget
going to the White
exactly.
House.
Yes, even to the White House. Order the Wonka bars are received. Okay.
It's Augustus first, isn't it?
Yeah, so, oh no, I don't want to order Wonka bars. Order. No, okay. I can order Wonka bars or in movie. What? Bless you. Oh my goodness. Okay, so anyway, we know Augustus gets it first. It doesn't necessarily matter who gets it when, or, well, I guess kind of does, but it doesn't matter. Augustus is the first winner. Little boy from Germany. This scene makes me laugh every single time. So we've been flashing through, they're flying off the shelves. The White House wants them. Everybody's ordering them. And then it cuts to a newsreel of Augustus receiving them. And they're eating at a restaurant. And he just doesn't stop eating to talk to them at all. Like, he's just...
Yeah, it's Augustus Gloop, an obese, greedy 9-year-old gets the first ticket.
So they're not 9. He's not 9 in this.
I feel like that always happens. Like, they're definitely not 9.
There's no way that this kid is 9 or supposed to be 9.
That's what it says.
Okay, this kid is 9, supposedly. This kid is, like, 13.
Right.
Anyway, so he's 9 years old, and while he is getting interviewed, his mom, I love his mom, she's so cute. She's, guten Tag, she's so cute.
The sweetheart, save some for later.
Yes. I love her so much. The dad never stops eating. He bites the end off of the microphone. Like, they are really pushing they are fat.
Yeah.
And German. And so while this is happening, you see the reporter who is not very good at reporting. Like, if you actually pay attention, it's not how you're supposed to do things.
Right.
But then he whispers into Augustus's ear, and the music goes, dum, and then it fades out.
Mm-hmm.
And we go back to more of them trying to find it, and more of Charlie, and his family kind of living their destitute life. At some point during this montage, it's Charlie's birthday, and they have all saved up. Grandpa George stopped smoking tobacco. Everybody has saved up every little scrap of money that they have. Which also, by the way, Grandpa George, side note, if you guys are poor and destitute and you're smoking tobacco, you're a bad person.
Yeah, each of them have like a little niche, like stop buying this, stop getting that, like stuff that they
Yeah.
allowed them to like have.
Yeah. I think one of them knit.
Uh-huh.
Oh no, they knit him a scarf. Yeah. They knit him a scarf across, like sharing the yarn, Georgette and Josephina. Or Josephine. But anyway. So they save up all their little money. They open up the thing, and he tricks them. Like
And
he's
it's not even a Wonka bar, it's like a circular thing.
yeah. So they're not super clear in this. I've never been super clear on, even as many times as I've watched it. Is it just in Wonka bars, or is it in Wonka products or Wonka chocolate products?
Well, in the montage, or I guess the montage, it's all Wonka bars. So I wonder if the family didn't quite understand that it was like in Wonka bar, so they just got like a Wonka, or a Wonka bar was too expensive because they were flying off the shelf, so they just got him something.
Yeah. That's fair. I never thought about it like that. Because in that case, he couldn't have gotten it anyway.
Yeah.
If it was just Wonka bars and they gave him the Wonka marsh fluff circle thing, Reese cup, they
Yeah.
couldn't. Oh, now I'm sad.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's fine. No, this is why we're doing this. It's great. It flashes up again to another newsreel. I want to say it's Violet who gets the
It's
second
Veruca.
one.
I found the list.
Okay.
It's
Veruca.
Veruca, a greedy, demanding, spoiled, it says, quote, brat, and one of the four main antagonists.
I love Veruca. I've always loved Veruca. I think her character is probably my favorite character, legit, like next to Willy Wonka. I think she's the most fun character. She has a personality. Her personality is not fat, and her personality is not like, she has a personality where she can stand there and you can go
Mm-hmm.
like everyone else kind of has to talk or act or do something, whereas like Veruca is like, oh, the way that she's standing,
embodies her
embodies.
character like pretty well.
Yeah, she's a really good. I mean, this little girl, for being like, I felt that, but I mean, and also I think it gives it, because if you think about like the other people, like, what's Augustus's problem? He's fat. Okay, what do you do with that
Right.
other than keep shoving stuff in your face? Nothing. What do you do with Violet being competitive? I mean, she
She's
can
always
shove people to
pushing
the
and
front of the
shoving,
line.
yeah.
Like it's, but like with, oh, you are a snobby, stuck up character. Got it. Posture up. Like
Right.
neck out.
And she's one of
Sass.
one of the only children who didn't actually find the ticket herself, right? Because her father
Right.
instructed, was it a peanut factory?
Her dad owns a peanut factory where they shell peanuts, and it's a bunch of little ladies who look like they're maids. Or not maids, nuns. They look like they're nuns, but like for peanuts. Um, and they are shelling. He said that he just started buying them, and he shut down production
Uh-huh.
of his peanut factory to undo all these boxes. And I forget, it was like 30 cents in your paycheck for whoever finds it. Like, I would have just I wouldn't have said anything. I just would have like slip if you could have gotten away with it. Like, whatever he
Well,
offered them.
as soon as the person that like undid it, she could barely even say I got it before like whoever was watching them like grabbed her wrist and was like, it's right here, like,
Yeah.
which turns out to be
Which was
Slughorn.
Slughorn.
Taking
Yeah,
her
I was
up
getting
there,
ready to
right.
say. So there's a theory, because there's a theory online on like Reddit or like Tumblr or whatever, like it resurfaces every so often, that there were never five in existence at a time. There was always just one. So that Slughorn, because he ends up working for Willy Wonka. Slughorn, how would he get there? How would he be right there?
Right.
So the theory is they send them out one at a time and he basically tracks the box so that he can be wherever he needs to be at that time. Because otherwise, how would he be at Germany right there? How would he be right there literally when they are unboxing the peanuts? You know?
Yeah, I'd never thought like too much into it. I was just like, he's there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously when you're a kid, you're like whimsy, magic, whoa! But I mean,
Yeah,
like as
no, I
I
can
guess,
understand that theory that because when you find out that he is actually working with him, then they know where they're sending it, so he's just waiting for somebody to find it.
yeah, like he just tracks the box or even tracks the bar somehow. Like he just knows. Um, there was a theory that he would like pick a willing kid, but like I don't know. I don't think that one's true. Um, or that they're working like they're underground candy. I mean, people go far into this. Like
Do
it's an
you want to know
underground
what I
system of
found,
Candyman.
which is not going to make you happy? When I was looking up stuff,
What?
that there is a dark fan theory that they label Willy Wonka as a child murderer and serial
I mean, yeah,
killer.
that's.
So when you said that he like found a willing child, I was like, well, there's some people that think so.
I don't think willing is the right word. I think like he found the person or the
Right.
child. Because also too, if you think about statistics, which like I mean, yes, it's a movie, get rid of the statistics. If you think about statistics, there's no adults. Cuz who's buying the Wonka bars? Not children.
Right.
There's no
Well, there's
adults.
that one guy that said he found one, but he made it up.
Well, he was a liar.
Right.
So yeah, he's a liar. I also love the scene where they're shelling the peanuts and he's like the dad's exasperated because Veruca's just pissed. Like Veruca's like, they haven't found it. I want it now. And the mom's just like, you're breaking a heart, sweetheart. Like the mom's just like, you have done this, and I am just filing my nails in the corner,
Happiness
like
and harmony.
happiness and harmony. like the mom is just like, I haven't. I don't even. I just birthed her. Like the
He's
end.
like shoving Tums in his mouth too because he's so upset.
Doesn't he say like my ulcer? Like he says something about that too. Like he's just popping. Boy is stressed.
Yeah. I never noticed what he was taking until like not too long ago. I was like, all right, is he like taking Tums because she's making him so upset?
Girl, I didn't even know what Tums were until I was pregnant. I never had seen a empty bottle of Tums, and I saw two of them.
I don't think I've ever seen an empty bottle of Tums,
Oh,
but I have found out being now 30 years old that if I drink anything remotely like acidic after a certain amount of time, instant heartburn. Or I can't eat pork anymore. Instant heartburn. I was like, getting old sucks.
ew,
What is this
preach.
heartburn?
Preach. Let's talk about the montage for a minute of because it montages of people trying to get stuff in between everybody, and it also montages Charlie just being poor
hmm
and trying to make money and trying to he works at the stand, the cabbages. It's Cheer Up Charlie. We don't talk about Cheer Up Charlie.
You don't like Cheer Up Charlie?
Nope, I certainly don't. I think it slows down the movie to a crawling pace, which like yes, movies should ebb and flow, but like it halts the movie. Like I don't think it's necessary at all, other than for him to just be like, I am poor. I'm not gonna get this. Meh. Like
Mm.
and
It
then
honestly
also
makes me
too,
want to go to sleep.
yeah,
It's
but
like a
like why are you
lullaby.
saying it behind his back? Why are you saying it like say it to his face? Cheer up, Charlie. He's gone. He's gone. You have not been supportive at all. You're just ruining the movie.
Tell me how you really feel.
I will. It's my podcast. Anyway, so I love this part of the montage where there's been a kidnapping. There's been a kidnapping. This woman's husband is gone, and they're clearly rich. They're clearly whatever.
It's like a TV show, isn't it?
Huh?
Is it not like a telenovela, like, TV show that they're filming?
No, it's real life.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh my God. I always thought it was like somebody was watching a TV show.
No. So this woman's husband has been kidnapped, and she's like, I'll give him anything. $1 million. Like, I mean, they're establishing how rich she is. Like, I mean, she's like, I'll give him anything. The keys, the car, the $1 million. What do they want? And then the FBI is on the phone. They're tracking it, and they're like, they want you a box of Wonka bars. And she turns away, and she's biting her nails. And they're like, did you hear me? She wants you a box of Wonka bars. She's like, I'm thinking. How much time did they say? Because
I honestly thought that was like a filming for like a TV show in that world, but wow.
No, Emily, that was real life. Somebody wanted their Wonka bars, held them for ransom.
Wow.
And then my other favorite one, which I quote all the time, I love this one, is the man builds a computer.
Uh-huh.
And he presents it to, I guess, the professors or whoever. I don't know if this is a thesis. I don't know what this is. But he presents it to 3 men. And he's like, I love the way he talks. It makes me laugh every single. He's like, I have built a machine that it will now tell me where the Wonka bars are. I am now asking the computer to tell me where the Wonka bars are. It says, why would I do that? That is cheating.
Yeah.
I am now telling the computer that I will split the chocolate, half the winnings with me. It says, what would a computer want with a lifetime supply of chocolate? And then my favorite part is like, I am now telling the computer exactly what it wants with, that part makes me cackle every single time.
I've
I
always
don't know
thought that
why.
was a funny part, but also I watch him push the buttons and I'm like, how are you telling it anything? Like, you're pushing the same 3 buttons.
Have you seen the court reporters or the
Yes.
stenographers?
Yes.
Have you seen their
shorthand?
machines?
The shorthand?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the machines. That, like, you press there's, like, maybe 10 buttons, and you press a combination, and it makes words. It's crazy. It's
I would
It's
never.
like that, though, where you press, like, a certain combination, and, like, on the one side, it's, like, it acknowledges that you pressed, like, Q, G, 4, 5, but then on this side it says, fire truck, and I'm like, I don't... Crazy. So I think that's what he was doing. He was stenographering it.
Stenographering.
Okay, so which kid gets it next? Is it Violet or Mike?
Violet.
Violet
A
Beauregard.
willful, self-centered, rude, and chewing gum obsessed girl.
Yes, so Violet Beauregard is our champion gum chewer who is super competitive. And when she learned about the Wonka bars, she tucked her piece of gum that she had been working on for, like, what did she say, 3 years? I've been working on this one for 2 years straight or something like that. Tucks it behind her ear and starts eating Wonka bars.
Ooh.
First of all, it's
That
disgusting.
would be Rebecca's worst nightmare because she hates
Yes.
like chewed gum.
Yes. Yes. First of all, it's disgusting. But second of all, your hair. That's what I just kept thinking, is your hair.
Uh-huh.
Your hair. Your hair.
Or just the grossness that's behind your ears.
Dude, I used to not think that was like a real, like, wash behind your ears until I had a kid. And then I was like, ugh? Like, what? No. It gets crusty. Crusty.
Blech.
Yeah. So her dad is a used cars. Oh my God, it makes me laugh every single time. So they're interviewing her about winning the Wonka bar, and her dad is trying to sell everyone cars. He just keeps grabbing the mic and be like, all right, here, Big Bob here. I'd like to tell you, come on down and we'll tell you. And she's like, cool it, Dad. They're not here to see you. They're here to see me. And he just doesn't get it. And it makes me laugh every single time that he just is trying to sell everyone in the world cars.
Like
come on down to my used car lot.
Yeah.
Huh?
Like the stereotypical car salesman.
Oh, yeah. It's the most stereotypical. It's so funny. And Slughorn whisper in her ear, and the music goes dun again. Charlie still doesn't have it. Not working out good. And then it comes to Mike TV.
A boy who does nothing but watch TV.
Yeah, which funnily enough, apparently, and I saw the interview, but I didn't see how they got the information. So Gene Wilder was asked, how is it working with the kids? You know, you're working with kids, like all whatever. He said, well, 4 of them are great. And apparently it was Mike TV, or that actor, that was not good. Like,
Harris Thiemann.
Yeah. Apparently he and Gene, or just Gene didn't like him, or he was atrocious on the set. And what I saw a lot of people say that it was partially because of his character, and he just was like told to, you know, you're being this kid who is, you know, likes guns and is loud and is, you know, into TV and into cartoons and stuff. So I mean, part of it was that, but then like they were like, oh no, he was annoying. So that always made me laugh, because he was like, well, 4 of them are great. 4 of them are great. So Mike TV, he likes cowboy movies. He is super into TV and television. Doesn't look at the interview people. He tells them to be quiet because the show's on. His mom seems a little bit exasperated, which, like, you know, sure.
She's a school teacher.
Yes, his mom is a school teacher. Yeah, so far we got the peanut heiress, a school teacher, the used car salesman, and Augustus's mom.
Yeah.
Who is, again, so cute. I love her. She's just, Augustus. I love her. I love it so much.
I literally think her 2 lines or 3 lines were, Augustus, sweetheart, please save some for later. She says it at least 5 times.
Yeah, she
says it during the interview. She says it while they're waiting on Willy Wonka to walk out. She says it while they're inside. Like,
yeah. And so then we get the news that a adult man in, was it Puerto Rico, Peru? Adult man in a country that starts with P.
Yeah.
Has claimed to have found the golden ticket. It's over.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden life resumes. Like, everything has to go back to normal. Charlie's in school, and even the teacher's like, all right, we have to do school again, I guess. Sure, whatever.
And he's like bitter that he didn't get a ticket.
Oh yeah, the school teacher is pissed. The school teacher is so mad. I want to know how much that man spent on the tickets, or trying to get a ticket, because right. he really is, and he's taking it out on those kids. Like, every time he opens his mouth, he's just like, all right, you stupid. What do you spend on them?
All right.
So he decides to do fractions or integers on how many Wonka bars did you get? You know, how many Wonka bars did you open? And so the kids are like, you know, about 100. 250. He gets to Charlie, and Charlie says 2. And he's like, oh, 200. He's like, no, just 2. And he's like, oh, well, I can't do anything with 2, so we'll just say 200. Dude, like, you're the teacher. Chill out. Right. Calm down. Yeah. Obviously, you knew this kid was poor. Why did you, like, I mean, why did you call on him? Anyway, so he's doing his fractions, and all of a sudden you just hear kids swarming. And they're like, what's happening? And he's like, it was a phony. It was a fake. It wasn't the real ticket. And he dismisses the class.
Again.
He's like, class dismissed. And then they're like, No, no. There's only what did he does it twice where he's like class undismissed, class dismissed, and like he sets him free. And while he's on the way, Charlie finds $1 in the sewer.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, you know what? I'm gonna go I'm gonna go get myself a bar and I'm gonna eat it. And like this is a really sad moment because like the way that he eats it, it's like he's ashamed to be enjoying this thing. Like he knows that he should be taking this money to his family. He knows that his family like there's so much on this kid. He's got a job. And it's him and his mom supporting and like it is him and his mom supporting these four disabled elderly people, which like I am all for supporting your family, but like he's supposedly 9.
Mm-hmm.
He's supposedly 10.
Around then, yeah.
Like that's hard. And I feel really bad about this because you can just tell that he is just like he feels guilty. Like he's enjoying it, but he feels guilty.
Yeah.
So he scarfs that one down, and the Candyman's like, "Whoa, like what's you? Whoa, kid, you know."
Yeah.
And then he's like, I should get another one just to get my Uncle Joe, like, you know, or to share it. And he's like, just do a regular Wonka bar. And so then he goes to the street, and I don't. Why does he? I don't remember
They
exactly
were talking
what.
about it. I think people were huddled around like the TV, like when when they had like TVs in the window. I
Yeah.
think people were huddled around that talking about how the one guy was a fake, and that's
Well,
when he
yeah, but
realizes.
that's why they got out of school.
Oh, I don't know. Then I don't remember why he opens it up. Why he decides that. You know what? I'm gonna
He
give
just
it a
in that
shot.
moment gets a premonition.
Yeah, like I'm gonna open it because maybe this is my one shot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's weird thinking about it because that's why they that got out of school. Yeah. But anyway, so he decides he's gonna open it up on the street. Of course, it's gold, and people start surrounding him, and they're like, "Oh, buy your ticket, blah blah blah." And his boss comes in and is like, "You have to run home, Charlie. You have to go." And so he goes, and he gets home, and he's telling them, and they don't believe him because, of course, the ticket's gone. Like, why would you? And his mom, like, he's like, "Will you go with me?" And like, his mom's like, "No." Like, all of them are like, "No." Like, we won't. Like, which is like, okay, why take off of work? Like, I get it, but at the same time, and then Grandpa Joe's like, he's like, "I wish you could go with me, Grandpa Joe." And Grandpa Joe gets up
He's like,
and
help me up.
starts tippity tap dancing. Like, Mans was not laying in bed for however many years, which, like, it didn't bother me when I was a kid, but, like, as I became an adult and, like, it got pointed out, I was like, hello?
You could have been working this entire time.
This entire time?
Yeah.
You could have been working.
I read some a fact about Grandpa Joe. Apparently, he was almost blinded, or is that a word?
Oh, yeah, blinded.
Blinded in World War One from like gas. So
Oh
they
my God.
had red lights on the camera so that he could know in what direction to like look at to look.
Oh, yeah, Grandpa George.
Was it
That's
George
cool.
or Joe?
It was Grandpa George, reportedly suffered exposure from poison gas. I was
Okay.
like, I think I had that one too.
It was one of them. One of them.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's interesting. I'm glad. I mean, I guess that's why Grandpa George wasn't Grandpa Joe because he couldn't, dance. So they sing the golden ticket, and they're talking about like we should go. We're gonna go, and they realize it's tomorrow. And he's like, wash your ears, scrub your feet. Like, we gotta go. So the next day arrives, and they go to Willy Wonka, where they meet the man himself, which is a captivating moment. And I really appreciate, if Gene Wilder did that, then I appreciate him doing that, because it sets the pace for everything. And it makes you like hold your breath because you haven't seen this Willy Wonka yet at all. And obviously Slughorn came. We skipped. Slughorn came. He talked to Charlie. He explained to Charlie that he wants him to get this new thing called an everlasting gobstopper.
Mm-hmm.
And bring him an everlasting gobstopper. So that's why Slughorn's been talking to these kids this whole time, is he wants him to sneak out an everlasting gobstopper.
And the only kid that is like taken aback from it is Charlie. Like, this guy's
Yeah,
crazy.
Charlie is a little bit like, I don't know that he's taken aback per se. I think he's just like, okay, like what, like, okay, you know.
Yeah.
Like he's just like, I don't even think he's like aghast. Like he's just like, that was weird. Anyway, I have a ticket. Like,
Yeah.
you know. So when the doors open, everything becomes pin drop silent. And Willy Wonka comes out. He's limping. He looks awful. He looks kind of scary. His cane gets stuck. Boom, 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 boom. It's Gene Wilder. It's amazing. Like,
Which I think the kids were scared of his entrance because they didn't know what he was going to do, right?
Yeah, apparently
Like, their
nobody
reactions were real.
knew. Yeah, nobody knew what he was going to do, per se. I think they were just kind of confused because,
I think there's a few times in the movies where they actually show their real emotions. Like, whatever they actually showed, they kept to the movie a few times.
Yeah. Well, there's tons of, like, little things and stuff that happen that are fun and, like, you know, like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But that apparently was the first one because they didn't know what he was going to do, which would make sense because, like, you're hyping up that it's this magical, like, I mean, you're hyped up. It's this magical Candyman. Woo, we're going to go see him. And then, like, if he limps out, you would be like,
yeah.
Okay. But then he tumbles in. He lets them all in. It's really fun. I don't understand how nobody rushed the gate because that's what I would be like, I'm getting in. But nobody gets in. He greets everyone by their name, and Violet's dad tries to sell him a car. It reminds me. Did you watch The Office?
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of when Phyllis's husband came in, and they're all standing like literally like bloop 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 in a row, and he's just Bob Vance, Vance Refrigeration. Bob Vance, Vance Refrigeration. Bob Vance, Vance Refrigeration. Like, it reminds me of that. Like, this time around, like, I'm really struggling not to call him Bob Vance because I was like, Bob Vance. So yeah, he kind of says, "Oh, Charlie, yeah, I just read about you in the paper. Like, you got it yesterday. That's amazing. Good job."
Mm-hmm.
They come in, and I do like the moment I will say, like, one of the moments in the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with Johnny Depp. I do like when Veruca and Violet meet, and they're like, "Let's be friends, best."
Yeah.
Like, I always picture that now. I'm like, that's perfect.
Super
Like,
frenemies, yeah.
yeah, like, let's be friends, best. So they go and they have to sign this contract. They're coming in, and there's this huge contract on the wall, and it starts out with massive letters, and then by the end of it, I mean, like, it is microscopic.
Yeah.
And they have to sign, and like, one of the dads actually was like, "Hey, we don't sign, like,
It's Veruca's
we don't sign
dad.
anything." Yeah, Veruca's dad's like, we don't sign contracts, and she's like, "Shut up!" Like, no, I do what I want. So they start signing. Oh my gosh! The hands that gets their coats. Daniel 3D printed me. I'll have to take a picture and show them to you. Daniel 3D printed me hands.
You have hand coat hangers?
I have hands.
That's cool.
They're not gold, and I think the more that I think about it, the more they need to be gold. But I have hands. For this reason, I saw it on, like, he was showing me, you know, like, stuff that you could print online, and I saw them, and I was like, I did those. And what was so funny was the first ones that he printed me were not, like, he didn't know the scale, so he just printed them, and they were, like, the size of a Tic Tac box. So it's his tiny little hands being like,
Take me good
"This
hand.
is my strong hand."
Oh, can you tell we're 90s kids? Oh, wow. That was good.
I love the hands. They move and they grab their coats and they grab their hats.
That scares
Um,
Mike TV's mom.
well, I mean, yes. Honestly, if my hands moved, I wouldn't have hands. But yeah, I love them decoratively. They're a great statement. Um, and then the wallpaper is lickable wallpaper, which
That's
as a
later on,
kid,
though.
huh?
That's later on, though. We haven't gotten to
No,
that.
it's when they come in. It's when they start walking
Hmm. I think it's
in.
after
After they sign the papers and they're walking in.
he's down to like 3 kids by the time you get to that, because it's
Nope,
after
it's the
Violet
first thing.
Beauregard. Are you
It's
sure?
I promise you. It's the first thing. It's one of the first magics that happens is the lickable wallpaper, and it's all of them. The snowsberries taste like snowsberries. That's Veruca. Like girl, don't. That scene, they have all.
Hold, please.
I don't want to talk about it. I'm done. I quit. I quit the podcast. No, I was wrong. I admit that I was wrong. Emily was right. Anyway.
I wasn't trying to prove you wrong. I was just honestly like, I could have sworn it was after Violet turns
I
into a
proved.
big blueberry.
No, you were absolutely correct. I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed to. It's a good thing I don't have a Gene Wilder tattoo.
Well,
It was
when you
all
see
the.
it
It
so
was.
many times, I can understand it can get like mushed together because they do so
I
many
am
crazy
having a
things.
hard time. I will say that I am having a hard time being like, okay, this is what happens next. Because I'm just like, I want to talk about this, and I want to talk about that, and let's talk about like.
Right, and I mean that is a very quotable, like, who's ever heard of a schnozberry thing?
I say that
And
a
I
lot.
honestly would have agreed with you if I didn't just watch it like last night and finish
Yeah,
it
literally.
today.
No, honestly.
So,
Um. Okay, so anyway, they go into this hallway. It's a different hallway. It's not the wallpaper hallway.
yeah, it's
It
the
is
one
this
with one
shrinking
door.
hallway.
Yeah.
And they get to like the elevator that like they have to all shove into and nothing like but then nothing happens and he just opens the door and they're like
What is it that
hello?
Augustus's mom like screams at him or screams? Like someone's touching me or something. I don't know why. That always like cracked me up. Like they're in this
Yeah.
tiny room and everybody's like on top of each other. And she's just like screaming, "Someone's touching me!"
They are like sardined in there. So
Hmm.
I mean like yes ma'am. But I also wonder like did somebody like or somebody like get a
Could
cup
have. She was a
'cause
well-figured woman.
she was a well-figured woman in a tiny room. I mean, you know, like I do let as someone who is a well-figured woman, sometimes you let things slide cuz you're just like I don't know, man. Could have happened. I literally just bounced a toddler off my butt today. So I mean like it's it just happened.
What?
I felt really bad. I was like, sorry.
My bad.
Anyway. Yeah, so the door shuts. He literally shuts the door and then is like, we're here. And they're like, nothing happened except for they just screamed. But then they open it and then they're in the hallway that's shrinking. I'm like, "Whoop, doop, 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 doop,
Uh-huh.
doop." So they finally get to the door and he plays the first little like it's a certain
Rachmaninoff.
hmm?
The TV, Mike
Oh
TV's
yeah,
mom's like Rachmaninoff.
Rachmaninoff, yeah. Um so he plays the Rachmaninoff and then what makes me laugh every single time is they are crouched at this door and then like
The whole door opens.
the
whole
whole
wall.
wall
Yeah.
the whole wall is like doo, 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 and they're suddenly standing in the most beautiful like child paradise.
And this is another one of the times where their reactions were real because they hadn't seen the set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of the stuff was edible. Like everything that they eat, quote unquote, was edible. Except for Gene Waters' teacup. Gene Waters' teacup was made of wax. And he said he had to chew until somebody called cut. And he had to do it until they got the take that they wanted. And he was apparently miserable.
Yeah, I'm sure. They couldn't have made it of like molding chocolate.
Well, that would have melted. So
Oh,
that
true.
would have melted to have it as chocolate.
Yeah, but
Sugar
the
would have
river was actually chocolate, sugar, and cream.
no. The river was just chocolate powder and water.
Oh, because I thought it was like they said something about there was a stench to it because it would sour.
Maybe there was cream. I only read the water and that it stunk because it was just nasty water with chocolate.
I wonder if I can find that fact.
Chocolate river. Here we go. 150,000 gallons. Oh yeah, real cream. Maybe I just blocked that. That was, yeah.
Could you imagine?
No, I couldn't. But I know that you go nose blind eventually, but I feel like there are some stenches that just wouldn't.
Yeah, that's definitely one of them.
And like, do you ever have the problem where like this happened to us today? That's why I bring it up. I went outside and stepped in like dog poo, and like luckily it didn't get on. Like it got on my shoe, and I like was able to like remove it from my shoe. I sprayed it down, I hosed it down, or whatever. But I swear for like 2 hours I was like, is it on me? Like, is it I?
Nick finds
Like it
it
lingered.
really annoying that because I'm like blind, my like nose senses and sometimes my hearing, but usually like my smelling senses are really sensitive. So I'm gonna be like, we need to take out the trash, or I'll smell like a phantom smell, and he's like, how? I don't smell that. Like, you're crazy. It's like, I'm not crazy. I can smell it. He got a good reprieve when I got COVID though, because I could not smell or taste anything for like a month.
Mance was just farting. He was just having a great time.
Yeah, he was like, you can't smell anything? Great.
Great. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of the stuff was edible. The girl who played Veruca actually cracked her knee open on that rock that she cracks the thing open. And you can actually see the blood, which I was like,
I read that one too, and I had to go back and be like, oh, I can.
Blood?
Yeah.
Yeah. Blood. Yeah, so that room just looks like a lot of fun, except for the whole, like, spoiled hot chocolate would be disgusting.
Ew.
Gross.
Because I can't stand the smell of spoiled milk. Like, I don't know if you ever open up and, like, pour out milk, and sometimes, like, the like, rim of it starts to smell, and so you're like, is this bad, or is it just the rim of...
I don't know that anybody likes the smell of spoiled milk, though. So I think that you're in the majority there. Yeah, and then so our first kid's about to get taken out. So Augustus is drinking from the fount of chocolate, which also, now that I know what that is, like, was he actually drinking from it, or okay, anyway,
Well,
I'm not even
like,
gonna
putting it up to his mouth. I don't know if he's actually drinking, but he's like, yeah.
I'm not even gonna
And he
justify
has to
the thought
swim
that I
in
just
it.
had. Yeah. So Augustus is too close to the edge. Everybody's having a great time eating stuff. Gene sings a beautiful song. I sing that song all the time. I love that song so much. And I love his little singing voice. It's just, I just love him. And then, yeah, so he comes over and he's like, Augustus, no, get your hands out. Augustus is ignoring him. Augustus falls in. I'm not sure how he falls in. I've never been sure how he falls in, because he was sitting there doing it for a minute, and then it was like, whenever I started looking at him, he fell in. But he finally falls in and he gets sucked up into a tube.
The serial killer Willy Wonka pushed him in. What are you talking about?
That's fair. That is a valid that he like knocked him in because he wasn't listening. I mean,
Like, whoop.
like, there's been those kids at the restaurants that are running and you're just like, if I just stick my foot out right now, if I just back my chair out, like, I get it. Yeah, so Augusta gets stuck into a tube and the pressure is building up. And, you know, I love it. He's like, you ever seen a bullet fire from a gun, Charlie? And then
You're about to.
yeah. So Augustus gets fired off, and she's like, "Where is he going? Where's Augustus? Oh no!"
You're going to make
And then we get our first look.
I know it.
He's been made into a marshmallow. He's like, "Yeah, I think I went to the marshmallow room." We get the first look at the Oompa Loompa, which, so the majority of the Oompa Loompas could not speak English, so they were lip syncing a lot to the songs, or phonetically, you know, mouthing words. But these Oompa Loompas in this are multiples of little people who have varying dwarfisms, because some of them are taller than others, some of them have longer limbs than others, and that sort of thing. And they're painted bright orange, which the book had them as, quote, African pygmies originally.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they published the book, they made them have white faces with like rosy cheeks, almost clownish. And then so Puffin just redid it again in 2023, and they just completely didn't even describe them. They said Oompa Loompas. The Oompa Loompas came out.
Huh.
And I was like, okay. I mean, I get it, but at the same time, okay.
Yeah.
So they made them orange because the NAACP was like, do it, I dare you. Like, absolutely not. So they're orange men with green hair. And they're kind of terrifying, especially knowing now that some of them didn't speak English very well. Like, they're just lip syncing.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
It's also terrifying.
Because in the new one, it's literally one guy auto-generated like 50,000 times.
Dude, no, it was before auto-generation. He had to stand in place. You never saw that?
No. They had to do each one like, wow.
He had to, I think he had to complete a row. And then they would be able to super whatever.
Okay.
But they couldn't do it. So he literally, you can see back behind the scenes. He stands in one place. He does it. He stands in one place. He does it. He stands in one place. He does it. He stands in.
I'm gonna have to find that video then. Wow.
It goes. Yeah. I forget his name. He was just at GalaxyCon. Anyway, yeah. So it's the one guy, but in this one, it's multiple different people who have varying levels of dwarfism. So he tells her to take him to the marshmallow room and make sure that the kid's okay, and that the chocolate's nothing's wrong with the chocolate, nothing's wrong with the marshmallows. As a side note, and then they sing their first murder song. Which, like, what? Just what?
If you think about it, at the end of this movie, you don't see the kids. Like at the end of the remake, you see them walk out like stretched.
It's at the end of the book too. At the end of the book when they're in the glass elevator.
Yeah, you don't see him in this one at all. So that the theory of him being a serial killer is like, could be.
The only problem that I have, true crime junkie here. The only problem that I have is that for a serial killer, I feel like it has to be more than 5 and it has to be more than once.
Well, who's to say he doesn't do it anytime somebody tours?
But nobody's toured. That's what I'm saying. Nobody's touring. Nobody has toured. This is the first time people have been. Now, maybe he's picking up homeless people. Like, maybe he is doing that. But this is more of a mass murder, not a serial killer, because...
Well, I just thought it was funny that was a like dark fan fiction of somebody who I know is also a crime junkie person who is not obsessed, but infatuated with like serial killers. You?
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, 100%. For a
And this
second,
is
I
your
was
favorite
like,
movie, and there's a
who?
dark
Oh,
fan fiction about that.
do you what?
I said I just thought it was funny. This is your favorite like movie musical, and there's a dark fan fiction about that.
Mew. Um, yeah. So in the book, they notice them at the end, like they're leaving, and Mike TV is like 20 feet tall. Like it's pretty silly. And in the end of the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, they have the same thing, but in this one, you don't. They're gone. We don't know what happened to them.
Mhm.
So, and also, well, we'll get there. We're gonna talk about her. So they sing their first song, and then they just move on. They're just like, let's go.
It's fine.
Um,
It's fine.
yeah, and then so this is not the boat scene yet, or it is the boat scene.
It is the boat scene.
It is the boat scene.
The scene that I would fast forward every time when I was. It still creeps me out, honestly.
It's it. Did you ever watch The Ring?
Yes.
Did you watch the video though?
No.
Okay. All right. So it gives me like
I mean,
PG
I know
version.
it's because you completely had to come apart the first time you watched it, so I know
Oh, yeah.
what some of the things that are in there.
Yeah. It gives me like baby version of that, like the way that it flashes. It's so weird. Apparently nobody knew what was going to flash up on the projector also, or that he was going to start singing.
An actual like lines from the book, which are terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah. So this part is obviously horrific. It's like the millipede crossing across his face, the chicken getting its head cut off. I don't understand. I don't understand why it's happening this way, but it is. And then we end up going past the different doors where we get like hair cream. What? What's that? And we get into the invention room.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where we get our first, the everlasting gobstopper. And he's like, I'm working on it. You can suck it and suck it forever. And then it'll never get any less. It'll just be the same. Which is awesome because I think he even says, it's either in this one or in the other one where he says, like, if you're poor, it'll.
I know he definitely says it in the remake, but I don't remember if he says it in this
Yeah,
one.
I think it's the remake too, of like, he's like, and the poor kids will love it. And you're like, I mean, yes, but no. But so he says, we'll suck it forever. And he goes to give him but then he's like, oh, well, you can't share this with anyone. Like, this is secret, super secret. And of course, all the other kids put their fingers behind their back as they take the gobstoppers.
Yeah.
And then they get to the gum machine, which has a full meal in the gum, which is pretty cool, pretty awesome. I love the effects. I mean, again, I don't understand why we keep pushing the boundary because it doesn't need to be pushed. Them just pretending to mash the turkey and stuff into, it's perfect. It gets the point across. It's so funny. It's funny. It's amusing. Maybe not outright funny. And it gets the point across. They're shoving all this crap and it somehow is coming into gum. I don't know. I don't need to see the 3D images of the DNA. Like, give me a stick and a turkey and just love it. Here for it. Also, wasn't there like a laundry? I mean, it's just so funny.
There was like, he's throwing shoes and coats and he's like, ooh, too cold. And like throws like shoes, coats.
It needs a kick.
Yeah. A little kick.
Yo.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Just speaking of like just random end quotes. So he makes the quote, candy is dandy, but liquor is quicker. Because I think Verka's dad makes some comment about like, you got anything adult in here, whatever, basically asking for alcohol. I had this neighbor and we went swimming in their pool. They had a pool and we went swimming in their pool. And I was swimming and I was goofing off and I had literally just like saw the rewatch because this movie only made $4 million of his $3 million budget. So it really didn't do well. But as TV started getting more popular and people started having TVs in their house, it started getting replayed and replayed, which was building up the audience and building up the everything.
Mm-hmm.
This movie is one of like the most replayed movies on television, like in history. And it eventually ended up on the like 50 most influential Congress's 50 most influential movies and stuff like that. But anyway, so I had literally like just rewatched this movie or part of this movie, and I love that movie, and so I was jumping around and I was doing whatever. And I started jumping and I said, "Candy is dandy, but liquor is quicker," and jumped in the water and like was being silly. When I tell you this woman yanked me out the pool, like wrenched me out the pool, and was like, "What did you just say?" And I was like, "Candy is dandy, but liquor is quicker." And I mean, I was maybe 8 years. I had no idea what liquor was. Like I didn't know what the word liquor was, and
Right.
I didn't know what liquor itself was. And she was like, "How dare you? That I'm gonna like you have to leave. You cannot be in this pool anymore, and I'm gonna call your mom and tell her what happened." And my mom even was like, maybe just don't say that. Like, I don't like.
Well, first and foremost, why would another woman be yanking you out of the pool? Excuse.
Because it was the 90s. It was like 2002. I don't know. Like it.
2002.
But I mean, she kicked me out. Like she was furious and like called my mom and was like, "Your daughter said liquor is quicker and can't like," and I even was like, Willy Wonka. Like I don't know.
I'm sitting here as a 30-year-old to be like, I don't really understand what that means other than, like, I get the premise of what he was saying, but at the same time, it doesn't really mean anything.
It really is a lot of nonsense, and it doesn't even answer his question or reply to him or mean anything. I don't know.
I mean, I get kind of what he was trying to say, but at the same time, it's like in Willy Wonka language where it doesn't really make any sense.
He just says stuff, and it doesn't make sense, and it just was funny to me because it rhymed and like whatever.
That's crazy.
Wow. I just every time I watch that movie, I immediately have that, and I'm like, slink, like I was scooped out of that pool and was like sent home. All right, okay, thank you. I definitely have said way worse, but okay. You'd have to say yeah like that. You'd have to say yeah like that. We didn't live together.
Oh no.
You were quick with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you have.
I don't know why this just popped into my head, but I remember when you just cold clocked me walking up the steps to our apartment out of nowhere, like hit me so daggum hard on my shoulder or something, and then immediately hit the floor going, I'm sorry.
I didn't mean to hit you that hard. I meant to like slap you for 10, and I actually like got a good one in, and immediately was like, there's no way I can't, like, how do I tell her that I didn't mean to hit her that hard? Because I just hit the crap out of her. Like, I just dropped because I was like, she's about to punch, like, we're about to fight on the steps.
In the middle of the stairs, you're like cowering on the ground, like, I'm gonna like slap you in retaliation. I literally was looking at you like, ow. But I don't know why that popped into my head. I really don't.
I don't know.
Poor memory, for some reason.
Poor memory, that's why. So yeah, she goes, Violet decides she wants to try the gum, and he's like, it's not, but I love how he tries to stop them. Like, he's
please,
just like, no,
stop, don't do that.
No, stop, don't, please. Like, he's just like, he's living for it. So she tries the gum, and she's like, oh, yes, the tomato soup, I can feel it throwing down my throat, blah, blah, blah. And she just slowly starts turning a shade of blue. And then, Violet, you're turning violet. And she's like, cool it, Dad.
Yeah.
And she starts going, and I love it. He's like, it's always dessert. They always turn into blueberry. Sir!
Every time, yeah.
Then why? Like,
no, please, stop, don't.
No, please, stop, don't. Yeah.
Serial killer.
Yeah. So she gets rolled away by the Oompa Loompas, which this always just genuinely looked so much fun. I wanted to be in the and just rolled around.
Little,
it just looked. It looked fun. It just genuinely looked fun. So they take her to the juicer, and off they go. Then they go into the hallway, and they see the wallpaper.
Taste the pineapple.
And
Tastes like pineapple. Taste the schnozberries. Tastes like schnozberries.
the snowsberry. I've never heard of such a thing as a snowsberry. He grab what? Oh,
Like
okay.
mid lick.
Which like yeah, mid lick. He grabs her and he tells her, "We are the dreamers of dreams, or we are the makers of music. We are the dreamers of dreams."
Uh-huh.
Like,
Again. What?
I don't know, but I have not held up my bargain. Taylor has "We Are the Dreamers of Dreams," and I need to get "We Are the Makers of Music." I just haven't gotten a tattoo in a really long time, even though I really want one. But I was gonna get that one too. Yeah. So they go into the next is the TV room or the gold. It's the Golden Goose or the TV room.
Golden Goose. Yeah.
I love and she's also the only one who gets a song. That's why I like her too. She gets a song other than Charlie. Obviously, he gets a song. No other kids are singing songs. Like, but Veruca sings a fabulous song about "Give It to Me Now." I want the world. I want the whole world. I love that song so much. But nobody else gets a song. She gets a song because she deserves one. Rightfully so. So she wants a golden goose, and because they go, and that's where all the golden eggs are laid. Mm-hmm. The giant chocolate golden eggs, which I did not buy one from Target. I was waiting for them to go on sale, but everybody did, or everybody bought them, and I didn't get one, and I am sad because I was gonna have Willy Wonka eggs. But that just goes to show you, just follow your heart and get what you want to get. Spend the money, doesn't matter. Yeah. Doesn't matter. So she wants the golden goose, and her dad's like, "How much for the goose?" He's like, "They're not for sale. Like, I'm not giving you a goose." And
no, really, tell me how much they are.
Yeah, he's like, "Okay." He's like, "No." So, how these eggs are determined if they're good or not is they go on a scale. The scale says them if they're good egg or bad egg. If they're good egg, the Oompa Loompas take them, wrap them up. If they're bad egg, they go down to the furnace. So she sings this song about how she wants to get the eggs, which in the Charlie version and in the book and in the musical, it's squirrels and nuts.
It's squirrels. How does she say it? Squirrels.
Well, yeah, she's like super Russian, so like
yeah.
At least in the musical, she's like squirrels, moose and squirrel, Boris. But yeah, so she wants the goose. She sings the song. She ends up on the scale. She's a bad egg. I want it now.
Yeah.
And then the dad goes in after her after he finds out it goes to the furnace. In the other versions, it goes to the trash compactor. They are seen leaving with trash. This goes to the furnace. We don't know what happens. So from there, they once again, what do you get when your kid is a brat? Lounging around like a Siamese cat. Love it so much. Their songs are so catchy, but at the same time, I'm like, this is like, you're spitting in the face, but like, okay. But they're also just saying the quiet part out loud. They're like, Veronica, brat,
yeah,
your kids, nope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so then they move to the TV room, but the fizzy lifting drinks. We didn't talk about the fizzy lifting drinks. Where were the fizzy lifting drinks?
That was after Violet again.
Yeah. So, in between going from Violet to the Golden Goose room, they come across a like soda fountain type thing, and it's fizzy lifting drink, and it makes them lift and fly away while they're drinking. All the bubbles carbonate. Mm-hmm. So Grandpa George and Charlie sneak in and drink some, even though Charlie says that's not a good idea. Grandpa Joe encourages it. And they get almost murked by the fan at the top. because all of a sudden the windows get so slick, and then when they burp, they realize they can come down.
This part also
And
terrified me when I was younger because I was like, they're still gonna get chopped up.
it's pretty intense. Like they get like it's
Well, that and Charlie is like screaming at the top of his lungs, like, "Grandpa, help me!"
help. Yeah, they're both screaming, and like, you know, it is weird to me that nobody comes, but it's all part of the scheme.
Right.
So anyway, that happens. Veronica's gone. They go to the TV room, and he has invented a form of TV where you take a large version,
super large,
of whatever it is.
It's Wonka vision.
Shoot the laser beam, and then it comes down into the normal small version, and you can pick it up and you can taste it and you can eat it. It's real chocolate.
Right. It's Wonka vision. Wonka vision.
Wonka vision, yeah. It's Wonka vision. And Mike TV, of course, is obsessed with TV, so he's like, put me in, coach. And again, I love how, like, they try to stop him, but at the same time, they all put on their safety goggles, and they're like, oh, no, we're not gonna... They shoot the kid. And then his particles float, and then they come down, he's a small version.
Mm-hmm.
And the mom picks him up and puts him in a purse, and then they get call over the Oompa Loompa, and he's like, take him to the taffy pulling room. Which,
stretch him.
Again, he becomes like, I think they make him like 8 or 9 feet. They make him like ridiculously tall, and they make him skinny because it's taffy.
Yeah.
So like when he leaves, like in the book, and when he leaves in the remake, he's like the wacky wavy
he's
inflatable.
Like 2D. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like flat,
and Violet
but also
is
really
super
tall. Flexible. Yeah, she's like, so I guess they cracked all the bones out of her. Like,
yeah.
I don't know, man. I also, like, I know we're not talking about that movie because, like, it's technically not even a musical. It's less of a musical than this one is. But I love Violet's mom in that movie.
She's been in a lot of other things before, but I don't know her. I
just love her. Like,
yeah.
Like, I just love her. As an aside, I was happy with that swap over in that movie.
Yeah.
Yes, they take him to the taffy pulling room, and then they are like ending the tour, and Charlie's like, Grandpa Joe's like, where's my lifetime supply of chocolate? And he's like, oh no, you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
And
I said good day.
Charlie's reaction is real.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, he's very scared of him at that moment.
Well, I mean, he goes off. Like,
yeah.
He goes off. And they're like, why? Why are we, what's going on here? And they're like, you stole fizzy lifting drink. You didn't follow the rules. You stole the fizzy lifting drink. We had to decontaminate the ceiling. You get nothing. You lose. You broke the rules, which, in all fairness, Veruca's dad was right. How can I sign a contract if I can't read it? But whatever. Right. And so they're about to leave, and I think Grandpa Joe even says, like, we'll just take that thing to Slughorn. Like, we're gonna go,
Yeah, you've got it. Charlie... You've got the everlasting gobstopper. Let's just go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Charlie turns around and gives him the everlasting gobstopper back, and then goes to leave, because Charlie is pure of heart. And Wonka immediately is just like, the end. Like, this, just kidding, flip switch. And he jumps up and he's like, Charlie, you did it. I knew it was you. I knew you could do it. And he tells him that he was giving away he was leaving his legacy. He wants to retire. And so Charlie wins because he has pure heart. Slughorn actually works for him. Mm-hmm. It was all just a test to see which kids would do the right thing, which kids wouldn't, because he wanted someone who's pure of heart. And they go into the glass elevator, which could go forward ways, sideways, blah, blah, blah. They press the button, it bursts through the ceiling, which is terrifying.
Yeah.
And yeah, then he tells him, he's like, I'm giving this to you. You can move your whole family in. Wouldn't you like that? He's so sweet. I love him. He's so sweet. Um, yeah, and that's the end of the movie. They float away on their in their glass elevator, happy as could be. The
Happily
end.
ever after. The end.
Happily ever after. Oh, and also I love the meme, the condescending Wonka meme, where he's like, "Yeah." I love that meme. That was like my when memes were a huge thing. That was like my go-to meme.
Oh yeah.
Be like,
I know,
"Oh,
yeah.
really? Tell me more." This movie, I don't care. It's a 10 out of 10 for me. It's a 10 out of 10 nostalgia. It's a 10 out of 10 feels good. My favorite costume, honestly, is just Willy Wonka's outfit. There's not a lot of costumes. It's very much like a cartoon where everybody wears the same thing the whole time. Um, I love his outfit. I think it's so perfect. I think the purple, the colors are perfect. Apparently, Gene had a hand in that as well with what colors he wanted to use. He wanted the hat to not be a full top hat. He wanted it to be a little bit stubbier, a little bit off, a little bit Wonka,
Which
if you will.
definitely makes sense, yeah.
So I just think it's perfect. I think it's so cute, and I love him.
Yeah, no, this one's also been like always a go-to. Like, um, I'm gonna watch
Sick
it anytime it's
movie. I'm gonna
on,
watch.
you know. So the nostalgia is definitely there for me, and it's one that I've watched with like my family for several years. So you can't beat the nostalgia for this type of movie because it's just, and that's probably true for a lot of people.
I think it just genuinely, I mean, really, I do think it is the time that it's introduced to you. I think that if you watch it now, then you're thinking about it as like a critical, almost cynical type of vibe of like, these kids are dying. What the heck? Or like, what that makes no sense or whatever. But again, I mean, I remember being 8 years old and just being like, I want to go to that room.
Hmm.
I would give anything
I'm
to go
still
to
like,
that
I want to go to
room.
that room.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, I just think it has such a place in my heart because of that, because of when
Right.
I was introduced and, that sort of thing. Like, it just makes me happy. And, despite Gene not wanting it to be his legacy, I mean, he does so good at this role. It's so sweet. It's so pure. Even when he's being mean, quote unquote, even when he's being whatever, like, it's so sweet. And he's so good at that role. And he's so fun and kooky. So I love this movie. It will hands down forever be. I can't wait to share Ruby. I can't wait to finally have a spare $1 trillion, like, to get my tattoo because it's amazing.
Oh, that would be a really fun tattoo, though.
I had it all worked out March 2020, and then literally like 2 weeks, he was like, "Let's set it up." I said, "Great." COVID. Just kidding. We're shut down. I was like, "Okay, cool, no problem." But I wanted to get it's like the stereotypical picture of Willy Wonka when he's like looking to the side and he's I was gonna get that. I researched him. I researched the artist, and I was ready, Freddy, and then
Yeah, the
that would be
only other
cute.
tattoo that I've ever thought about getting is my mom used to sing a John Denver song to me when I was little. The
Mm-hmm.
sunshine on my shoulder makes me
Mm-hmm.
happy. So I literally want her to draw like a
A
little
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 sunshine,
sunshine and put it on the back of my shoulder.
Emily.
I've wanted that forever, and I said that I wouldn't get it until after I was married because I didn't want like tattoos to show.
Sure.
Um, which my dress ended up having sleeves anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered. But like, I want her to just draw like a little, and I want her to write sunshine on my shoulder makes me happy, like in her writing, kind of like how your mom
That's what
did.
this is.
Yeah,
This too shall pass with my mom.
yeah.
But
Either I would get her to write something, or I would just have her draw like a little sunshine and put it on my shoulder.
I like just the sunshine.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it's not my body. It's not my
Like
tattoo.
just
I think
like
it'd be
a,
cute
I
either way.
mean, like this big of sunshine, like so, like
Hmm.
just a tiny little tattoo on my shoulder.
I like it. I think that would be super cute.
Yeah.
And it makes me happy. Like it made my heart warm. I was like,
Any guesses of what you think our next
I want it to be something
Like, you
older. I don't
totally
even remember.
called this one, or you totally put Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory into existence.
I know. Now I'm like, I have to maybe step my game up again. Let me see what's on the list, and
Okay.
then do 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 do
I kind
do
of want it to be
do.
one that I've never seen.
I want it to be one that I've never seen too either. I want to get to a.
Either
I
that,
want to get
or I
back.
would be totally okay with Shrek the Musical, because I know that would be one that is a fun episode.
I love Shrek the musical
Yeah,
so
same.
much. It's literally one of my favorites. We listen to that a lot too. Um. Oh my gosh, why can't I find this? I'm not gonna make you read up musicals. Got it. Just had to say it. Musicals, musicals, Susie Q's the musicals. All right, I'm thinking it's going to be. I think it's going to be the chorus line.
Chorus line. All right.
That's what I think. That's the first thing I saw.
Let's see.
Okay.
Drum roll. Oh. I've actually never seen this, but
Okay.
and it's old.
Okay.
It was made in 1950s.
1950s. Okay.
Any guesses?
Oh man. Oklahoma.
Nope.
I
Gentlemen
have no idea.
prefer blondes.
Oh my gosh, you've never seen that? I actually don't.
Bits and pieces. Like, I've seen scenes from
Same.
it,
Same.
but I haven't seen the entire movie.
Same. No, I was about to say that I had seen it, but then I was like, no, I haven't. I can't tell you anything about it.
Yeah, I've seen bits and pieces.
Gentlemen prefer blondes. 1953. Oh, yes.
Marilyn Monroe.
Marilyn?
Marilyn?
Yeah, because this is Diamonds
Yeah.
Are a Girl's Best Friend. Yeah, that's literally, I was like, I have seen it. Then I was like, no, that's just iconic. Exciting.
Well, you also get it from Moulin Rouge, which we have
Fair.
covered.
Fair.
Yeah.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Oh my
'Cause I've
goodness.
only ever seen like bits and pieces, and actually, I want to say it was on like Turner Classic Movies not too long ago, and I was like, I need to watch this, but then I was like,
Well,
oh,
we
yeah.
are. Oh, awesome, because we both haven't really seen it, and yes, awesome.
Yeah, that's exciting. Woohoo! Well, thank you guys so much for watching or listening to That's One of My Favorites. We hope you enjoyed this awesome episode, because it's a movie that we both really love, and hope you loved it too. But you can continue to watch us or listen to us at That's One of My Favorites podcast on YouTube or Spotify, or you can email us. Tell us what you think. Give us some movie suggestions at oneofmyfaves@gmail.com. So yeah,
Yeah.
we're excited.
So fun.
Yay, gentlemen prefer
Next
blonde.
time. Also, hey, if you're paying attention, are we blonde or not blonde? Because I say we're not blonde, but people say we are. Anyway,
I used to be
just
a
keep
lot
that.
more blonde, but
I used to be ice blonde when I was a tiny child. And now I'm not.
in college and stuff, I was more blonde. But it's like the older I get, the more auburn
Yeah.
I get. Like, it's like I don't know. But
Anyway,
good night,
yay.
guys.